Hello, the Pioneer viewers. How are you doing? I hope you're healthy and well. As the Pioneer team, we continue to bring the developments regarding the Russia-Ukraine war to your screens. In the past days, there was an event that shocked Russian sources. A military aircraft belonging to the Russian army was shot down and crashed while performing a critical mission. However, it has not yet been determined who shot down the aircraft. We will discuss the developments regarding this aircraft in a moment. We have often stated in our previous reports that Russian aviation is facing major problems. We know that there are major problems, especially in the Russian civil aviation. It seems that the problems have now spread to the Russian military aviation as well. Some sources claim that the Russian fighter jets have shut down by the Russian air defense systems, while some sources claim that it crashed as a result of the friendly fire from the Russian air defense systems. According to some sources, the aircraft crashed due to the malfunctions that could not be eliminated for a long time. So, what are the developments regarding the Russian military aircraft? Let's take a look at the developments together. As the Pioneer team, we continue to convey the Russia-Ukraine war to your screens. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications so as not to miss our daily map reports and reports on the agenda. I also read all your comments on our videos. Please continue to express your opinions about our content in the comments. Let's say thank you in advance for your nice comments. And let's start if you are ready, the Pioneer reports. We've got it. As we mentioned, a military aircraft of the Russian Air Force crashed in the skies over the Berdyansk while performing an important mission. The model of the military aircraft in question is reported to be A-50. This aircraft, produced by the Soviet Union, was carrying out reconnaissance and information gathering activities in the Ukrainian airspace during the day. It is claimed that the aircraft was carrying out reconnaissance activities mostly around the occupied Luhansk, Bakhmut, and the Donetsk, and then planned to enter the Russian airspace over Berdyansk. However, even if this claim is true, the aircraft never reached Russian airspace, because according to reports, the aircraft, which was flying at low altitude around Berdyansk, suddenly went out of control and started to lose altitude rapidly. According to some sources, the aircraft exploded in the air. Some sources claim that the plane was exploded at the point where it crashed. Reports that the Russian military aircraft crashed were initially denied by the Russian sources. They described it as a provocation news made by Ukraine. However, as the time progressed, local people in the region also reported that a big sound was heard. Local sources also shared that there were many people who saw the plane fall. Later, Russian sources confirmed that the Russian military aircraft crashed. One of these sources made the following statement on the subject. Tragedy is always tragedy, especially when it's on this scale. No matter who was there, who is blamed for the death of the pilots, we probably won't know. To decrease eternal flight, to the wounded speedy recovery and return to service. As can be seen from the statements of the Russian sources, the entire crew of the downed Russian military aircraft lost their lives. According to the open sources reports, when this military aircraft goes out of reconnaissance missions, it goes out with a crew of about 16 people. In other words, 16 Russian Air Force personnel lost their lives with the crash of the Russian military aircraft. As we mentioned, the situation is related to the reports published by the Russian sources. Russian official sources have not yet made any statements on the subject. Therefore, we can't confirm the losses of the Russian personnel. However, under any circumstances, such a loss is a big problem for the Russian Federation. Let's come to the allegations about the downed aircraft. Some sources claim that the Russian A-50 military reconnaissance aircraft was shot down by the air defense systems of the Ukrainian armed forces. However, so far, Ukrainian sources have not made any statements on the subject. We also think that this claim is not true because there is a difference between the point where the plane crashed and the range of the Ukrainian air defense systems. Therefore, this claim is quite weak. According to another claim, the Russian A-50 military reconnaissance aircraft crashed due to the erroneous firing of the Russian air defense systems. In our previous reports, we have reported that the developments related to this issue. In fact, Russian air defense systems had recently hit the Russian city of Belgorod with the erroneous shots and caused heavy losses. From this point of view, we can say that such a claim is strong. The Russian army, which has been boasting about success of its weapon systems since the beginning of the war, was almost disgraced because the Russian sources claimed that the weapon systems of the Russian army were highly advanced and that the Western weapons could not cope with the Russian weapons. In this way, they claimed that the Russian army would completely capture Ukraine in a short time. However, today it has been 2 years since the war started. Ukraine is still not in the hands of the Russian army. In addition, the dysfunctionality of the Russian weapons has become clear. We also know that the Russian air defense systems have shot down Russian warplanes many times with friendly fire. Therefore, from this point of view, we can say that the possibility that the Russian A-15 military reconnaissance aircraft was shot down by the Russian air defense systems is quite strong. The other claim is that the downed aircraft was already out of order. As we have stated in our previous reports, sanctions have a great impact on Russia. The sector that has the most problems due to the sanctions is the aviation sector. We know that the problems in Russian civil aviation have increased for about 2 years. According to this claim, the problems are not limited to the civil aviation. Russian military aviation is also losing power day by day due to the sanctions. According to those who put forward this claim, the downed Russian A-50 military reconnaissance aircraft was already malfunctioning. The crew had even reported this issue, but nevertheless the Russian war leadership ordered the reconnaissance mission to be carried out. In other words, the Russian aircraft was sent on a reconnaissance mission with a malfunction. If this claim is true, the Russian Federation will face major problems because there is a great anger in the Russian people against the Russian war leadership. The reason for this anger is that the Russian young men and women are sent to the front with a bad strategies in a war that is uncertain when it's all ends. Russian citizens now want their loved ones to return. While there is a desire in the Russian citizens, the Russian war leadership is sending Russian soldiers to extinction with broken aircraft. What the Russian people should do in this situation is clear. The Russian people need to push the limits to demand the real information from the war leadership and the president of the Russian Federation. There are still people living in Russia who don't support the expansionist ambitions of the Russian Federation. Those people who are gathering will mobilize for their loved ones and for Ukrainians. If this movement takes place, the free people of the free world should support them. Now tell me, what do you think? How do you think the Russian A-50 military reconnaissance aircraft crashed? Do you think the Russian war leadership knew that the plane was faulty? Do you think that this plane could have been shot down by the Russian air defense systems? What do you think about the claims of the Russian sources? Do you think that the Russian people can take action? Let me know in the comments. I read and I care about all your comments.